Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Okay, our topic for today for week 16, it is actions which can be taken when emergencies arise in port. Okay, meaning to say the emergency arises in port. So fire or explosion on a vessel alongside. Method of raising the alarm, use VHF channel 16. Sound the vessels while continuously until acknowledged. Report the emergency. Other than that, actions which can be taken when emergencies arises in port. Action by master. Here are his actions. Having raised the alarm, responsibility for fighting any fire and dealing with other emergency situations will rest with the master or officer in charge of the vessel concerned until the fire brigade arrives. So there is a fire brigade coming from the shore. A check of all personnel on board must be taken to account for all members. This must be reported to harbor master and fire brigade officer. Loading and unloading operations will stop and other measures to contain the emergency must be taken. Okay, see, so cargo operations will be off. Okay, it will be stopped. So these are the actions by the shore personnel: setting off the fire alarm in the vicinity of the vessel or shed, alerting the vessel by any available means. So there will be a communication or a sound signals. Set of fire control plans. So there is a fire control plan stored and readily available for the assistance of shoreside firefighting personnel at the gangway. Normally, it is always in the gangway. And aside from that, it is also on the both sides of the accommodation when we talk about the fire control plans. The fire control plan, it's a plan consists of the following: fire control plan, stowage plan, MSDS or the material safety data sheet, and the crew list. Adjacent ships nearby shall be aware of the situation, taking into consideration the possibility of the spread of fire. For fire protection, the attention of masters and officers in charge is drawn to the necessity of preventing outbreaks of fire on board and of taking all possible precaution for that purpose. Ship's officers should immediately on arrival make themselves acquainted or familiarized with the location of the nearest firefighting facilities, including hydrants and dock fire alarms. Fire hydrants are located on all quays throughout the harbor. The position of these facilities should again be ascertained. If an outbreak of fire does occur, fire and rescue must be summoned without delay, and in the meantime, every effort must be made to extinguish the fire. Alarm should also be indicated by rapid sounding of the whistle or siren. So this will depend on your fire emergency list or master list. Nandoon yung sound signals and the public address. So for responsibility on and control, as it is desirable that same practice should be followed throughout the country in dealing with fires on board vessels in port, the following procedure in regard to responsibility and control has been agreed by the government departments concerned. The fire and rescue officer in charge of the operation shall, for so long as any appliance is made available by the port for the purpose of these operations, and have full control over the manner in which it is used. So whenever we go alongside a port, normally there is a meeting or safety key meeting. And with the safety key meeting, the emergency procedures will be discussed whenever there will be a fire outbreak or anything. Master, on his absence, the officer in charge shall be responsible for bringing to the notice to the fire rescue officer any special circumstances affecting the safety of the ship or the conduct of the firefighting operations. In default of the master or officer in charge bringing such special circumstances to the notice of the fire and rescue officer, the latter shall be responsible for ascertaining such special circumstances and shall arrange for any appropriate steps for the ship's safety to be taken. So in the absence of the master, whoever is on duty, it will be the duty officer. It's either third officer, second officer, or chief officer. Port shall be responsible for bringing to the notice to the fire and rescue officer any circumstances affecting the safety of the port installations and for arranging in conjunction with a fire and rescue officer for any appropriate steps for the safety and efficient working of the installation to be taken. The decision to close the port to shipping and or restrict movements, including their order within the port, will be made by the harbor master or the loading master. In the event of disagreement between the fire and rescue officer in charge of the operations, the decision of the harbor master or other responsible officer of the following manners: whether the ship is to be moved, beached, scuttled, and if so, the place to which the ship is to be moved, where she is to be beached or scuttled. Whether the pumping of water into the ship is to cease, as to ensure that the ship does not sink, capsize, or otherwise damage the port installations. Of course, you have to do everything not to affect your vessel. Emergency procedures at berth within the dock, harbor, or terminal area. Raise the alarm by rapid sounding of the whistle or siren, setting off fire alarm in the vicinity of vessel or shed. You can dial the phone, whether the 999, it's not mandatory. It depends on which port you are. It is indicated on your emergency procedures. Okay, you can call the fire brigade, the police, or the ambulance. Call the estuary control or the VHF radio channel 16 or channel 12. These are the actions by the shore personnel: set off the fire alarm, the vicinity of the vessel or shed, alert the vessel by any available means, and alert the estuary control. The master or his deputy will retain overall responsibility for the vessel and for the persons on board. On sounding or raising the alarm, all non-essential personnel to vacate the vessel as quickly as possible and assemble in a clear area away from the vessel. The master or his deputy will establish and maintain communication with the senior shore manager present, police incident officer as directed. The master or his deputy will put into effect the emergency procedures as detailed on-board procedures and extinguish the fire or contain the situation as best possible until backup shore services arrive. On the quay, fire and rescue, police, ambulance will assemble at any clear area close to the vessel. An incident control post will be set up locally and communication established with all essential services, senior on-site, manager, estuary control, ARDOS and harbor control as appropriate. So there is also a chain of communication to be established. Any emergency services required, duty marine manager, local senior manager, HNS or health and safety manager where applicable by estuary control only. So what does ship officers do? They will provide the following information on request to the harbor master: cargo manifest, cargo plans, general arrangement plans, stability information, firefighting plans, and any other relevant information pertaining to the particular emergency. So that ends our topic for today, which is actions which can be taken in when emergencies arise in port. Let me stop the sharing.